Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. What a wild week it has been as we've seen a couple cold fronts move through the state, brought high winds and extremely cold temperatures, particularly in our lows as we move to the sub-zero range. Coupled with the winds, we were easily seeing 20 to 30 below zero wind chills. In between the cold shots, of course, we went the other way, completely to the opposite polar end, well above normal temperatures, and that's been the theme the last couple of weeks as we battle between this eastern U.S. trough and the western U.S. ridge. And as each one moves east and west, we see these influxes of cold air come in with the high winds. And it looks like that trend will continue at least into the next week. We do have another Arctic air mass poised to move into our region, particularly as we get into late Sunday and more in the area of Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll start to see temperatures ease somewhat as we move toward next week. So let's take a look at the main forecast and see where we're going to go over this next 7 days. And the first thing I'll draw your attention to, here's that upper air trough that's bringing the very cold air over to the Great Lakes. For Nebraska proper, the ridge from the west is trying to build in, and of course we're seeing our coldest temperatures in the northeast as it's on the backside of this cold air shot coming across the upper Midwest. So we'll be looking at highs probably in the 30s. More toward western Nebraska, closer to the ridge, we'll be looking at temperatures that easily should make it up into the low to mid 50s. Now as we go to tomorrow, what we're going to notice is that trough kind of eases up a little bit, but the upper air low over the Hudson Bay region is going to elongate, and that's going to pivot another piece of energy around it. So this cold front is going to rapidly move through the region as we get into late Sunday afternoon, and we'll see temperatures begin to drop Sunday afternoon, and most likely our highs as we get into Monday with this cold air coming in will be right around midnight, and then as we go through the day our temperatures will continue to drop. I would expect during the daylight hours that we'll see temperatures consistently in the single digits to the north to probably the low to mid-teens across the southwest. Now as we go into Tuesday, most of this cold air will filter in. We'll start to see our winds lighten up somewhat, so the wind chill factors won't be as much of a major problem, but our highs will be consistently in the single digits to the low teens across the state. Now as we go into Wednesday, we start to see this trough weakening, and as it weakens, we're going to start to see some warmer air move into our region. So we should boost our temperatures about 10 degrees on Wednesday. Of course, each of these days with this cold air, we will have the chance for scattered flurries, but there doesn't look to be any significant accumulations. Now as we go into Thursday, we're going to see a trough trying to form to the east, and we'll see ridging pushing in, and that's going to boost our temperatures another 10 or so degrees across the state. So we could be looking at a return to the 40s across the west and possibly pushing the 30s across northeast Nebraska. And as we get into Friday, we start to see a zonal flow. That's going to open up the channel for a storm system coming in that could portend to some snowstorm activity across the central one-third of the United States as we get into the early part of February. So as we look at the temperatures, we will see some fairly nice conditions this weekend, and then things will kind of fall apart Sunday as we see the cold air filtering in, and then as we get into Wednesday, we start to see a rebound in temperatures back toward closer to normal by Friday. 8 to 14-day forecast indicates the cold air will remain in place into early February, and we also see the signs of an impending snowstorm that's going to hit somewhere in the central one-third of the United States as we get into early February.